So I'm making this recording right now. Um, I don't know if I'm gonna try to upload it to YouTube with a video game gameplay in the background or something. Um, I don't usually do this or record things like this. On my YouTube channel, I have video game gameplay, but I would ignore that. I have some music playlists on my channel. If if you're going through it and you're like, why does this channel exist? I'm like, I don't know. I don't even know why I have 83 subscribers. Man. Anyway, thank you to the subscribers. Um. All right. Oh boy. So I'm trying to see if I can talk about all the scary things that happened in the apartment I used to live in. Um. With used to Man, I can't even speak right. Used to live there since I was born, basically. So I grew up there. I was born in 1997, and we stayed in that apartment until 2012, I think. That's when we left. And throughout those years that we lived there, a lot of weird shit happened there. Um, ooh, where do I start? Like a lot of like paranormal weird stuff happened. Um, it's not like the movies. In the movies, you see like it's exaggerated and all that. And no, here it's like I'm gonna say more subtle. Uh, a lot affects the mind a lot, and we didn't really see a lot, like in terms of like an apparition or an actual like ghost like standing there that you could see with your eyes. Like I've heard people say that they've seen things, but I haven't like seen something like that. No, but it's a lot of like just like voices, noises, um, what else? M- Stuff that moved around, but not like poltergeist, and you know, it didn't move like how a poltergeist would move it. It was just like subtle, but it was there and it happened. I don't know how to explain it. Um. Anyway, okay. So let me start off with what I can remember. I'll try to tell everything that I can remember um, from as I'm going. It might be like out of the time, like the timeline might be a little, how do you say, like uh, random, because it's I'm just gonna try to remember things as I go, as I speak. Okay, let me see. The first thing that I remember, um, was I was probably like 4, 3 maybe. I don't remember how old I was, but I know I was small because we used to have this like green couch in the apartment. That never haven't seen that green couch in forever. Um, I want to when this thing happened, it was at nighttime. Okay, now before I start with the story, okay, I'll tell you like how we were like living. Okay, we lived in an apartment. The apartment. All right, let me go back. Let me see if I can give you a setup for like just the layout of the apartment and just okay. So the apartment had a big hallway that you go into, right? To get in. And from there you go into the actual apartments themselves. And ours, as soon as you walk in, the entrance to our apartment, there's a kitchen right when you come in, and as you walk in to the apartment, you walk into a small hallway that connects my parents' room, the kitchen, the bathroom, and the room that me and my sibling or my siblings and I would sleep in. Right when you walked into our apartment, you would, as you're facing the door, you would see the kitchen, and then you cut to the left, and that's where we would sleep in one of the rooms on the left hand side, to the left hand side of the kitchen. On the right hand side was my parents' room, and then man, I really suck at giving the setup, but all right, I'm trying. Anyway, um, so we okay. Now I need to describe what happened that one night that I could the first thing that I can remember that happened, the weird thing. So in the night, um, I guess there I remember someone was watching TV. I remember I was sitting on the floor, on the carpet, and my both of them, keep in mind that both of my parents worked, so this was like at nighttime. And they're probably asleep already, right? And I guess we heard someone scratching the door. No, we say I say someone, but someone. How do you say it? They started scratching from I want to say human height. So it started like I don't know if you can hear, but like someone scratched from the top to the bottom very slowly, and we were like very we were creeped out. Now you maybe someone could say, "Oh, but what if it's like a rat or something like that, or some kind of animal?" Well, it's an apartment. I mean, there was rats, but the thing is with this door is that there's no like ledges or shelves that were nearby where a rat could go and get on the door and scratch it, at human height. Um, um and it did. The weird part is like it was slow. Like I was like, it gives me shivers actually thinking about it. And when it happened, like we kind of just all stopped and we looked at each other and we're uh, like, uh, confused. And yeah, we just ignored it, you know, because I think if we try to think about it more, it would scare us more, and we didn't want that. We wanted to sleep, And anyway, so that's the first thing I remember. Um, what else happened? Um, I remember. Okay, this is another thing I remember. So I used to like when we would like do chores and stuff around the house. Um, Sometimes I would be washing dishes in the kitchen, and when I would wash dishes in the kitchen, I I shit you not, like I'm just doing the dishes, and I'm standing here, and I'm just okay, minding my own business, doing whatever, right? The dishes. Somehow I feel like someone was watching me from behind. And in our kitchen, we used to have these curtains like covering the entrance of the kitchen, so we couldn't. I guess you could say we couldn't see any. You could kind of see through them, but not really. And like I just I found myself constantly turning around, and it felt like it really did feel like someone was watching me. And I just kept looking. I'm kind of like confused. I'm like, huh? Like I thought someone was there. I'm like, okay, and then just keep washing the dishes. But the thing is, as I was washing the dishes, it kept happening. Like I kept turning around. I'm like, is there somebody there? Like I don't like. Obviously, I couldn't see anyone. It just felt like you had eyes. Like it felt like I had eyes on me, and I was like, I mean, I wasn't totally scared because like it's daytime, but it just and then over time, like as I kept doing it, it just kind of became normal. Like someone would still watch me while I was washing dishes, but you live there so long, you get used to it. You just get used to it, and you honestly you just stop caring, and you try not to think about it deeply because if you try to think about it, you'll just freak yourself out. So yeah, it was just I guess it became normal when I would wash dishes. Okay, that I remember. Um, this other thing that'll happen a lot was the radio. The radios in the house would like turn on and off by themselves, and so let's see if I can remember some of the instances when it happened. Um, my dad used to have a stereo in his room. Oh, and it was like the sound was loud, and I remember one time where I guess they had gone out to my parents had gone out to a family party, and we were in the apartment. I forget who I was with, but we're in, I think my brother maybe. My older brother. Okay, before I continue the story. Okay. So, my parents slept in their room. I had I have three older sisters and I have one older brother. Just so, you know, I give more context to what happened in the apartment. So, okay, where was I? I was talking about the radios. Yes. Okay. So I was in we're in the apartment and my dad's stereo turned on by itself. And you're like you may be like, "Well, how do you know it turned on by itself?" Well, cuz we were in the other room and we know my parents left. So there was no one else that should be in there, turning it on, right? Anyway, so we go to well, I don't think no, I don't think I turned it off. I think my brother did or somebody did. They went to turn it off and but okay. Now I'll explain why it's like not a radio malfunction or some kind of like technical error. Okay. So my dad usually has his like music playing at a certain volume, right? He usually doesn't raise it over a certain volume because then it'd be too loud. And this thing was blasting music in my parents' room, like loud, loud. Like it did scare us when it happened, and we are like, what the fuck? Like I didn't say that, but we're like, yeah, it was weird. So it was blasting music. I turned it off. That's that happened more than once. It didn't happen like, uh, it, like that wasn't the only time that it happened. Um, and it would happen where it was the volume that just all of a sudden would get raised to like maybe almost maximum level, and then just playing blaring music, and yeah. So that happened. Um, another case of the radio, I guess malfunctioning, not malfunctioning, but I think it was paranormal. Where and we had a radio alarm in our room, and this thing started playing before anyone was supposed to wake up. Like we there were set alarms, right? And we knew around the time like when they would, start playing. This thing fucking started playing early in the morning, like 1 or 2. I don't even know how early it was. And it's just blaring music, like whoa, like we're all asleep. Like me and my siblings are asleep, and it's just blasting fucking radio in our room. And yeah, I could tell you that probably happened more than once. Honestly, it's just it's been a while, so I, since it happened. So I don't remember like all the instances when it happened, but yeah, that would happen. And that let's see, I I feel like I remember. I have a vague memory of the one in the radio in the kitchen also malfunctioning, or not malfunctioning, but going off. And but honestly, it's like I don't remember it all too well, so I'll just ignore that one. Um, okay, so the radio thing would happen. Uh, what else? Mm, hmm. Okay, so I forgot to include this in this, the story that I'm telling you, or like things that just happened. Um, so my mom was telling me, or my mom had told me that some lady played the Ouija board before they moved in that apartment that we lived in, and I think she said that they played in the closet. And yeah, I'm like, well, that explains all the weird stuff that happened. Um, anyway, so aside from the radio thing happening, I'm trying to remember, like, okay, so I do remember there was this one instance where I was walking in the hallway that's in our apartment, not the apartment complex, just our apartment that connects our rooms. And I remember walking down the hallway, and I I could have sworn I thought I saw someone like sitting down. Like it looked like if I saw a person sitting down, but not like I wasn't staring at the kitchen. I was staring into the hallway with my peripheral on my left hand side, and I'm walking towards the kitchen, and like from my peripheral, I could I swear I thought I saw someone like sitting down, and it's like when I walked past the kitchen, I I looked back, like I was like just to make sure like was someone there. And I just like walked back and I didn't see anybody. I'm like, oh okay, like I guess it's just my imagination. But considering all the weird stuff that happened, I'm like, did I see someone? Did I not see someone? I don't know. That I can't tell you. I don't like. I'm not really sure. I thought I did. Um, that happened. Okay, so let's see. What else can I remember? Mm, uh, okay, so another weird thing that would happen that I remember was that at like when the kitchen was by itself, and all the dishes were washed and put on the dish rack. So, I swear, like at times you could hear like if someone was like choosing the bowl but not pulling it out. I don't know if that makes sense. The dishes would like slide slightly. The bowls would like make some noise, and it was constant. Like let me see if I can try to make replicate it. Like it was like a lot of this, like just like subtle. Like it wasn't like throwing the dishes or anything like that. It was just very subtle, like things like this. I don't know if you can hear it, but like just like that, like you'd constantly hear it. And actually, even at nighttime, like when nobody was in the kitchen, you could still hear like noises like that. And you know, I didn't pay much attention to it because I'm just like whatever, like it's like we a lot of weird things. So many weird things happened. It's just like, it became normal. So that's like something I didn't even fucking pay attention to. It's just I thought like, oh, it's whatever, it's normal. No, that's not fucking normal. Why the fuck are the dishes moving like that when no one's in the fucking kitchen? Like I don't know. Yeah, I agree. Like now, I think about it, I'm like, yeah, it's weird. So that's something that happened. Let me see. Okay. Man, I'm like, okay, I'm blanking out. Okay, so my sister was actually the one that experienced this, not me. But we all, I do remember that night that we heard my sister scream, and it like woke us up because, you know, the scream, it's frightening. So my youngest sister, she's still my older sister, but the youngest of the three, she, I guess she says she saw like a a silhouette of a little girl, and she said that like that this little girl was like talking to her, like like I don't know how to explain it, but like just this like little girl was talking to her, and that she got super scared, and this was at nighttime, of course. Everybody was asleep in the room, and she just screamed like loud, and I remember I woke up and we're like, I guess like in panic. I do remember like we were kind of freaked out. And I did at the time that it happened. I was just kind of like, I don't know what happened, but I'm like, oh wow, and yeah. But that's what she told me that night. She heard. a little girl talking to her, and she said she saw a silhouette of a little girl. I imagine it was probably like a shadow, not really like full fledged like a person that you could see, you know. Um, that happened, and I do remember. And yeah, now I'll add credence to the little girl thing. So I had this experience where I was by myself in that room, uh, and this was during daytime, and I remember I was standing next to our closet, and next to our closet there was like a lamp, and I wasn't in the closet. I was standing outside the closet, and there was a lamp next to the closet, and I was standing next to the lamp, and I remember I just like out of nowhere, I just start hearing a girl laughing, like like I guess like a mocking sort of laugh. I don't know how to describe it, but that's what it sounded like to me. Um, she's laughing, and like it was clear as day. Like it was, I was like, what? Like, like my brain was like not processing it, and I'm like, and I thought maybe somebody was outside in the alley. So our apartment, like in the windows, you know, it's connected to the alley, and I put my head on the spring of the window to kind of like just to verify that nobody is like outside, you know, walking around and talking. And I looked, and I don't see anybody. And then I looked in the closet. There's nobody there. Where the you know, but the laugh, the direction it came from was where the lamp was. Like the lamp, like I didn't hear any echoes. It's like clear as day. I just heard ha ha. I'm like, the fuck? So I remember when it happened. I just like I didn't react like like screaming or freaking out or anything. I remember I just left the room. I was like, nope, just like nah. So I left the room. I don't remember what I did after, but yeah, that happened in broad daylight. Not even at nighttime, which was the weird part. Like, and nobody was in the room. Like nobody. So that happened. Um, so when I told you about the story where my sister screamed, we were sleeping in. Me and my brother were sleeping in bunk beds, and my sisters were sleeping like I don't know if I don't know if they had a like a bed to share or if they were sleeping in bunk beds at the time. But anyway, um, I I started sleeping in a in a bed by myself, and I remember I guess the bed where it was placed. It was the headboard was like facing the closet. I mean, on the side where the closet was. Like it was on the side of the wall that was next to the closet. So at night, when I it when I started sleeping there specifically, like near the closet, there was some weird stuff that started happening there, and I remember I would sleep on that bed, and I would face the wall, because you know I was still scared at night. Um, sometimes, sometimes no. It's like an on and off thing, and I would sleep facing the wall, and I would hear someone like if- like they would go up to my ear on my right ear, and I feel like they would go like, and just whisper, 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 and I'm like, what the fuck, you know? And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, maybe I'm just being paranoid, like, as me, my brain overthinking things, just me being crazy. And I kept hearing, and this would happen every night that I slept on that bed, and I just hear, and I swear I couldn't understand it. Like, if someone was whispering to me, I couldn't understand what they were saying. I couldn't make out the words. But yeah, that would happen. That was annoying. Like, it's funny that I say annoying, but like, it was to a point where, like, I think at some point I actually did get mad. Like, I got mad, like angry. I was like to the point I think I was just saying like to it, whatever it was. I was telling it like, get out of my head. Like, shut up, you know? Like, let me sleep. I actually said like, get out of my head. I'm like, yeah. I really got mad, but I think it still kept happening. But yeah, that would happen. Um, let me see. So my brother would sleep on when we had the bunk beds. Before I slept in the bed next to the closet, we were sleeping on the bunk beds, and he used to sleep with a blanket covering, uh, I guess covering like basically covering the entire bunk bed section where you could see the closet. So he wouldn't be able to see the closet. He would only be able to see like in front of him. And then he said, or not that he said, he turned on the fan at night for white noise. But I found out why he was doing it. So I had asked him about. I don't remember if I asked him about it or if he just told me, but he was telling me that the reason why he had the fan for white noise was because he said somebody was talking to him at night, like I don't know, like whispering or something, and I'm like, huh. I guess that lines up with what was happening to me afterwards, but I didn't know that was going on at the time. This he told me this like after like way after the fact that we've all moved out. Like this, we're out of that place. We don't live there no more. But I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Like, uh, yeah, why he had the white noise for with the fan, because he was trying to block out the sounds of the whispering. So that he told me that, And then let me see what else I can remember. So this was a long, long time ago. This wasn't my story. This is my sister, my youngest sister, and my older brother when they were small, ish, not too small. They had gone to my parents' room, and there was like this like built-in closet storage like on the top. I don't know how to explain it. Like built-in closet storage that had like cabinet that you could open and you could put stuff in there. And I guess one of the cabinet door or uh, openings, um, it would. They said that when they were in the living room, that it was like moving, not moving like exaggerated, but moving enough where it just seemed like it wasn't normal, and like if something was trying to get out, or I don't know, but it was moving, and that it was like my sister said that my brother like climbed on the my parents' bed, standing on it, and then hit the cabinet door to close it, so it would stop shaking like that or stop moving like that. Um, nah, well, yeah. So that happened. Mm, let me see what else. Uh, okay. So I talked about the radios, closet. Okay. So this isn't. This isn't like overtly strange in the sense that like nothing weird happened of the closet. It's just my parents used to have this closet that would when you open it, this closet was facing uh the hallway entrance, and for some reason, like it, so, something about it being open felt wrong. I don't know. I do not know how to explain that to you and how that makes any sense. But it's just I had this strong feeling, like just it being open felt wrong. I don't like, and if at times I did feel like something was looking back at me in there, that's why I would go close it. Like just I had like a it gave me a bad feeling. So I'd go to that closet and I'd make sure that it was closed. And I just closed it. And I found out that my brother, my older brother, he said that he would also close it too. But like I found out after the fact, like that we moved out. Like I didn't tell, I never told anybody that I was closing the closet for that reason. I was just doing it for that. Like I didn't, but nobody knew why. You know, a lot of like the weird stuff that happened, we wouldn't tell each other that it happened. We wouldn't talk about it. We wouldn't acknowledge it. We would kind of like keep quiet about it because you know we were, how do you say, like if we talked about it, I feel like acknowledging it being real or it happening to us, we, you know, like we would feel scared. You know, we didn't want to. I guess you could say we're like lying to ourselves in a way, like just kind of like pretending that it was normal, so that we could sleep there and oh, yeah. So a lot of these things happened. Let me see. So the closet thing. Okay, now I'll elaborate a little bit why I also dislike the closet. Um, there was another reason too. So there's like these like very distinct nightmares that I had as a kid. That nightmares most for the most part, most people forget them, right? Because it's a dream or whatever, and you're not supposed to retain that. I guess that memory of the dream itself. You're supposed to kind of forget it, But these nightmares, like, they're too fucking weird. That's all I gotta say. Like, they were too fucking weird. And what I mean by that is like, some nightmares, like, maybe a horror movie you saw like in passing, or just like something like that, or like something you saw on TV that made you scared, or like something like that. But no, this, or I don't know, like this was fucking weird. This is absolutely weird. Um, One of the nightmares that I can remember, um, so as a kid, I used to have this like little blue plastic chair. My favorite chair, right? Keep in mind, this is my favorite chair. I would have this chair like everywhere in the apartment. Even when I was like playing with my toys or whatever, I just have it with me. I guess it was like I guess something that comforted me, right? And I have this fucking nightmare about the chair. I'm sitting on the chair, and where I'm sitting is behind the bathroom, and the hallway light is off. Did the hallway have a light? Actually, I don't remember anymore. I believe it did. I don't remember, to be honest. I don't think it. I'm starting to think I'm like I don't think the hallway light had a light, but maybe it did. I don't remember. Anyways, so in the blue chair, I'm sitting on the blue chair. This I'm facing the room, my parents' room, and the entrance to my parents' room, as I explained before, that you could see the closet door, right? But I don't know that does the nightmare doesn't have anything to do with the closet. I'm staring at my parents' living room in the chair, and to my left you could see the entrance to our room where we slept, and we used to have the computer set up on the entrance of our room, and I'm sitting on the blue chair and I'm like stuck. I'm stuck on this chair and I can't move. And I'm like trying so hard to move. And there's like this shadow thing. Like you can see like a silhouette of a shadow coming, I guess, from my parents' room. And the weird part is that in the nightmare, the like the light was like it looked like it was daytime in my parents' room and in our room. And there was a silhouette coming. Like I could see the shape of a person like coming towards like the entrance, and I it was getting closer and closer to the entrance. I could see the silhouette reflected from the sun, and I was panicking in the nightmare, and I was panicking, and I looked to my brother. Like, and I guess in the chair, somehow I managed to like fall over to the side, so I'm like I'm on the floor in the chair, and I can't move. And I'm pleading to my brother like, "Hey, like help me, like come on, help me get up. Like something's coming, like help me." And I'm freaking out, and he can't hear me. He can't hear me calling to him like, "Oh no, like I'm getting scared. I'm getting scared. And I guess the silhouette's getting closer to the entrance of like it's getting closer to the entrance of my parents' living room. I'm like freaking the fuck out, and I like right before it gets to the entrance, like I don't even get to see what this thing was. Like I guess as it gets really close, like all of a sudden, I just wake up. I wake up. I I don't remember. Hold on, sorry, I thought I heard something. So I wake up and I'm sure I woke up panicked. Uh, but man, that nightmare scared me. That's only one of the few nightmares I had. There's still some other ones that I'm still gonna talk about right now. So that blue chair that it was my favorite blue chair, right? After that nightmare, I got rid of it. I got rid of that blue chair like quickly. I didn't want it. I wanted no like I think I had this like fear in the back of my head that this I guess that would happen again. And I'm like, no, no. So yeah, so I got rid of that blue chair. Another nightmare I had. Um, this one this one has nothing to do with inside the apartment. Now this one's gonna be a little bit more weird. Okay, so in this nightmare, um, it takes place. I guess it takes place at nighttime, and you're like, how do you know it took place at nighttime? Well, in the apartment complex, the hallway light would be on during the night. So in my nightmare, the hallway light was on in the apartment complex. Wait, hold on. I hear something. Oh, that's a TV. Whoops. Anyway, sorry about that interruption. So, the during the night of the the apartment complex, the hallway light would be on. Now, to the scary part. I was running from the north entrance of the apartment complex to the south entrance of the apartment. And when I was running, I felt like somebody was like pulling me back. I I don't know how to describe it to you. Like something was like some kind of I felt some sort of pressure just like holding me back. Like I felt like I was fighting gravity, but instead of up, gravity being weighing me down, gravity is like pushing me sideways. And I'm like trying to like I don't know what's behind me in this nightmare, but I feel like a sense of panic, and or I felt a sense of panic in the nightmare, and I'm just like trying my best to run to escape to the back entrance. And I don't know, I actually don't know why. Like I don't know why I was so eager to get to the back entrance, but Like, so as I'm getting to the back entrance, I open the door to leave, and that's kind of sort of where the nightmare ends. And you're probably asking yourself, like, what's weird about this nightmare? Like, this sounds like a whatever nightmare. I'm like, yeah, I would say it might sound like a whatever nightmare. But the thing is, like, it happened. I had reoccurring nightmares about this. I had reoccurring nightmares about this, and it's weird. It was weird to me. Now, here's the even weirder part about all this. So, how I explained right now that I'm running to the back entrance? So, there was. How to explain this? To sum it up, there's basically like a somebody was always running like in, this isn't the nightmare anymore. This is like what happened like legitimately or you know real life. Somebody was always running down the hall from the north entrance, like I described in the nightmare, running all the way to the back entrance. And the thing is like we thought it was like a kid that was just like, playing around, running in that same direction always. But it would happen every no keep this would happen every day or almost every day. Somebody was running in that same direction always. Like dum 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 dum. And you're like, how do you know it was a kid? Or like and I don't know. Like I remember I tried opening the apartment door to peek and look to see like who it was that was running, and I could never catch him. I don't know who it was, and um, my sister said that she didn't know, she never saw anybody either, and I guess the you're like probably saying, okay, but how you didn't explain how do you know it's a kid? Okay, so the reason why think it's a kid is because the footsteps were light. In the apartment, you like in the hallway, you could feel someone if somebody was like an adult and like running because you'd feel like you feel the weight of them passing by. And like this was like faster pace, like lighter. You could feel like it was lighter. And what makes this even stranger is that like this happened when I was small, up until I was still living there, which was probably like I was 12, and the footsteps would remain the same, like weight. I don't know if that makes sense. Like every time this person would run, it never felt different in weight. So like, and where I'm getting at is that like if this was a kid, he would have gotten older if he had still been living there and doing that same thing, running down the hallway. No, it stayed the same. And as I got older, I'm like, wait a minute, like something's not adding up. And those nightmares that I had at the time, and then like the recurring nightmares, and then that actually happening all the time, I'm like, maybe there was something to it. You know, I don't know. I'm just explaining that like is a weird fucking coincidence. That's all I'm gonna say. And I don't know like how connected those two things were, but yeah, I was running away from something in that apartment. But when the running would take place there in like real life, it was actually during the day. I don't actually ever remember hearing it at night. So I don't, yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like there's some weird connection there, but I genuinely don't know. You know, all I'm saying is that I think it's weird. Um, so that nightmare, that's an that's another nightmare I had. Mm. And I had this third nightmare that I can remember that freaked me the fuck out. This one, this one was, uh, I well, actually there's still a fourth nightmare, but anyway, this third nightmare, I I guess it looked, it's weird because I it looked like I was like in a medieval place. Like I don't know how to describe it. It looked like there was like castles or something medieval related, but I guess I start running away from this thing, the shadow thing, and it was a like a black cloak type type of figure, like like those depictions of like those how do you call it? Those things from like Harry Potter. I forget what they were called. Um, but yeah, it looked like if somebody was wearing like a Grim Reaper costume, but cloaked in black and just black. Like there was no, it didn't have a face, it didn't have arms. It was just in black. And yeah, I don't know how to describe it. I don't know like the best way to describe it, but I guess this thing's chasing me in the this medieval place, and somehow I get transported to the bathroom of our apartment, and I'm panicking. I'm scared, and I hide in the bathtub in the closet, and I close the curtains. And when I guess this thing like caught up to me and it opened the curtains and it was like looking down at me. This black thing like just looking at like had like no face. This is like pitch black, like a shroud inside the cloak, like just of pure darkness. It's all I can describe. And when it opened the curtains, like, and it looked at me, like, that's when I woke up, like, sweating, scared. So that's another nightmare. Actually, yeah, I still have two more to go through. So I had that one. No, this one is weird, really weird. This nightmare, um, for context, we were raised Catholic, and we would go to church on Sundays, and I I really wasn't familiar, or not familiar. Not I shouldn't say familiar. I didn't really like when we go to church. Like I'd go to church, and then when I come home, like I wouldn't think of church or anything like related to church. And like what I mean to say is like I wasn't. It wasn't something I was thinking about a lot, you know. And in this nightmare, uh, so there's a at our at our local church we had there was like this I don't know if it was a painting or yeah, it looked like a painting of the cross, and then it had the heart of Jesus, and in the heart of Jesus there was a spear, right? And you're like, okay, so what does that have to do with the nightmare? So I'll explain. So when in the nightmare, I'm I'm in church, in that church, the local church I go to, and like I like I had a spear in my hand. I had a spear, and you know where I threw the spear? I threw the spear at the heart of Jesus in the nightmare. I threw the spear, but as I was throwing the spear, like I felt like I was holding it back, like I didn't want to throw it, and something was making me throw it, and I felt really scared. Like I was scared, and I threw it, and I think when I threw it, it's when I woke up, and I was sweating, sweating like crazy. Like if I had run a fucking marathon, I was sweating, and I was panicked. Mm, and I've told my sister about this nightmare, my youngest sister. I might have told my other siblings, but I don't really remember all. But yeah, that that I was scared shitless. Like when I woke up, and I'm in my head, I'm just like why the fuck would I think that? Like I don't know. It perplexed me. That's all. I couldn't believe. I could not like comprehend that I fucking threw that. I don't know. I felt yeah. It felt evil. I don't know how to explain it. It just felt really, 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 really wrong. And I, man, I was scared. Now, I'm gonna add some context to this too. Um, Added context. So there was one instance where um, I guess I don't know which of my sisters was telling me, but she told me that I had sat up at on my like when I was sleeping. I sat up and I looked at her and I growled. uh, I said, she said I sat up and I looked at her and I growled. Now, with the nightmare I just told you that I had, I'm like, okay, like, like this some. I feel like this is getting into some like weird possession shit. You know, I don't know. Gives me chills thinking about it. Luckily, I don't live there anymore, so I don't have to go through that. That nightmare, yeah, but that nightmare, I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. Mm, let's see, I had this other nightmare that I had. I think this is the final nightmare. Like, and these nightmares, like, I remember vividly. That's why they freak me out so much. Like, I remember them like memories. I don't remember them like dreams. Like they're vague. No, I fucking remember them like if it was a memory. That's how scary. Like that's how scary they were to me. And this nightmare. Now, this nightmare. I I was I was looking at the bathroom. I was in the hallway. I was looking at the bathroom, and the light in the bathroom was on. And I guess I was just. This was like this happened. This nightmare happened like right before we moved out, and I'm staring into the bathroom with the light on, and just out of nowhere, just something like the curtains just close like violently, like with like anger, and it freaked me out, and I guess, and I guess I left in that nightmare because I don't remember anything after that. But I remember that part, like that freaked me out. And you're probably asking me, well, what does this have to do with the apartment? So my sister was telling me, my youngest sister, my old, my youngest, my youngest older sister was telling me that she had a similar nightmare. And keep in mind, like we didn't tell each other this, like when it happened or anything like this. We told each other these things after they happened, not there and then. And she had told me that she had this nightmare where it was the same circumstance. She said she was staring at the bathroom. But she said that, like, what I described, the curtains closing violently. But what was different about mine's and hers was that in hers, the door slammed in front of her. Like, you know, like, and she described to me like I didn't think this at all, but she mentioned she's like it was like she's described it like if it was angry that we were leaving, and I'm thinking about it, I'm like maybe yeah, maybe it actually was angry that we were leaving. I don't I don't know, but yeah, and that was the final nightmare I had when when before we moved out, like right before we moved out, and yeah. Um, we moved into a different place, and when we slept there, um, the nightmares and all the weird stuff, like they, they just they stopped abruptly stopped. Like we didn't experience that anymore, and that. when we slept and we slept fine and no problems. That's when like we kind of knew like, oh yeah, something was up with that apartment, you know. Yeah. Well, anyways, so that's enough about the nightmares. Um, I remember there was instances where like the sink in the bathroom would turn on, and we had I had three sisters and an older brother. So you might be thinking, oh, but maybe maybe they left it open. Yeah, maybe they left the key just like maybe they didn't close it right. They didn't turn off the sink right. And I'm like, yeah, but there was some instances where like how do you say like I don't think anyone like it was when it was pouring water in the sink. It was never like like how you would wash your hands normally. This is like very like little, like just slightly, like if somebody slightly move the, you know, I don't even know, man, I don't even know what to call. Like somebody would like you know, turn the sink on like a little bit, but enough to like it's making noise, and I feel like that happened several times, but maybe somebody like just didn't close it right, but keep in mind that like when I found the sink on, it's just like nobody was in the bathroom. The light was off, so I'm like, oh yeah. Anyway, yeah. So there was that. Maybe it was nothing. Yeah. Uh, I do remember there was one instance where the kitchen sink was like left on and it flooded the sink and it was overflowing. And yeah, I think I remember that happening. And I don't think anyone like left it on by accident. I think, I suspect that something turned it on, and but yeah, who knows, right? Because but it was overflowing. Like the sink was clogged, and the water was just overflowing from the sink, and yeah. I feel like this happened like when we came home from someplace. Like none of us were home at the time. I do remember that. Yeah, that happened. Now that could have been nothing too. That case, because I don't know. Um, let's see. What else can I remember? Mm, I feel like I remember hearing footsteps during the night, but it's like I don't know. Maybe like my maybe I blocked it out. Honestly, like I for some reason I don't remember, but I feel like it happened. I don't know. Maybe like there's some things that I just don't remember. Maybe I like blocked that out of my mind to defend myself from all the weird stuff that was happening. I don't know. Well, anyway, so that okay. So my mom was telling me a story of in the apartment, like that happened there, and she was telling me that there was one night where she was sleeping in the room, and my dad had gone to Mexico to visit, and so he wasn't home for a couple weeks. And my mom was sleeping in the room by herself, and we were sleeping in our room. And she said that like somebody like I think she said she had the door open. From my understanding, she had the door open, and something like slammed it shut, like like that. I don't know if you heard that, but she said like something slammed the door, and she got scared, right? And she told me that she thought it was one of us that had done it. So she went to go check on us, right? And we were all asleep. And I'm like, ew, yeah, that's creepy, right? So that she told me that story. Um, I think that's the only one she's told me. I don't recall anything else. Okay. So now my dad told me a story where in the apartment he was getting ready to go to work, and that the TV, I think he said he was watching the TV, he turned it off and it turned back on. Yeah, that was weird. Then that he turned it off. I think that's the story. I'm not entirely sure. I would have to ask him again. But yeah, he told me that happened. Um, oh, speaking of TVs, there were some weird things that happened with the TV that I remember. So in our room, so you know how I had explained before that like a lot of weird stuff happened with the radio, like it would turn on just randomly for no reason, and I guess the TV. So you know, we used to have those the thick box TVs because at the time, HD TVs were not common, and we had this box TV, probably like mm, maybe like 30 inches, 20, maybe 20 something inches. So the this happened during the day. I remember the TV just turned on by itself, and you're probably like, okay, but what was weird about it? So what was weird about it is that I remember it was on a different channel before it was like turned off, and when it turned on by itself, it was on a static channel, like like in the ring where the TV would like be on like after I guess the tape would finish, like you'd see the static, right? Well, yeah, it was just static. It was playing. It was on a static channel, like a channel that doesn't exist, right? And I was like, what the fuck? Like that's weird. So that happened several times too. Um, the TV. I'm trying to remember other. Okay, so my second oldest sister, was telling me a story that I think she said that she had slept in my parents' room, and I think my parents had gone, but they probably both had gone to Mexico. I think at the time, and my sister was older and taking care of us, and she said that somebody when she I don't know if it happened like when she was sleeping or like after she had slept that somebody patted. the bed, kind of like that. I don't know if you've heard that. I don't know if you could hear that, but yeah, somebody patted the bed, like a sort of patting that like I guess like if you're sitting down and you're looking at someone and you're telling them to like to come sit next to you, like that kind of patting. That's what that's how she said. Like the she didn't tell me that that's what she felt, but that that padding usually indicates like the person doing it like they want somebody to sit next to them, right? So I just thought like, oh, that is weird. So yeah, that happened. Sorry about the cough. Uh, let's see. Ooh, I'm trying to remember. Okay, so there's this other story where my sister was telling me that my parents, my siblings, and I had gone to a family party, and she had the youngest, my youngest older sister was the one that stayed home in the apartment, and she she said that something dragged the kitchen chair in front of her, like, but like right before her very eyes, like she saw it happen, and yeah, she was scared. Well, and I guess that maybe lends credence to maybe like when somebody was watching, like when I had mentioned before that I felt like somebody was watching me in the kitchen. Maybe it was that same spirit. I don't know. But yeah, that that happened. Um, mm. And overall, just yeah, a lot of weird stuff happened. Uh, mm. I'm trying to remember other instances or other things that happened, and it's not coming to my head. Let me see. Mm, okay, wait. There was this other thing that happened. So the the ent the door to get into our apartment, somehow it would always like it would always open. It would always be found open during the day. And like we had it locked and everything, and sometimes just like randomly just out of nowhere like the door was open, and we thought maybe something was wrong with the mechanism, the door. But I remember I tested the door, like, and I closed it, and I like put force. I tried to put force through it, and it wouldn't open. And I'm like, huh? Like, I feel like, yeah, and this happened every day, or almost every day during like the week. Something would open the door, and we would put the locks on it. Like we saw ourselves put the locks on it, and it still somehow managed to open. And the thing is, like, we would never see it open like before our very eyes. It would always be found open after the fact that we like pass by the hallway. We're like, oh, what the hell? Like the door's open. Why's the door open? And we just closed it, and we would like lock it. But that was a reoccurrence that kept happening. Or that's something that, yeah. It was something that kept happening, and yeah, I would say that was weird. um, so that happened. Um, hmm, man, I'm really trying to remember other things, but yeah, I it comes to me sometimes, and sometimes I'm just blanking out. Hmm, yeah, but uh, anyway, the there was times where you would like I don't know how to describe it to you, but it's like if the light was off and when we go to sleep, like it just felt like the atmosphere just changed. I don't know. Like I would feel scared going to sleep. Um, but it's like you're probably saying, "Well, why didn't you tell your parents that this was happening?" I'm like, I don't think anyone wanted. I don't think any of us wanted to acknowledge that it was real. We didn't want to. How do you say it? Like it's like we're like it's like a lying to ourselves to protect ourselves, like to keep ourselves sane, like so that we just brush it off as it's just normal and not something that's actually fucking weird. As I just described to you all the weird things that happened, but it's just like I guess like a defense mechanism for us. We just didn't acknowledge that it was real, so we just kind of like kept it out of our minds as best we could. Um, mm, and I don't, I really, I'm trying to remember, but other things, but they're not coming to my head. Hmm. Okay. Well, I did want to say one more just came into my head. There was a so I had explained before that I had that nightmare about me throwing the spear at the hard Jesus and like a shadow thing like chasing me, and I feel like those things were like connected to like possibly me being possessed or something. I don't know. Or it was trying to possess me. I don't know. But yeah, there was this nightmare that my sister had, my youngest sister. She told me that she had this nightmare where I was going up the stairs of the apartment, I think, and that this was when I was like a little kid. There was like this like creature with devil horns up there, like waiting. And I was running up the stairs, and she was telling me like not to go. This was her nightmare, not mine. And she was telling me like not to go, and that I went with that thing, whatever that thing was. And I'm like, maybe, yeah, it's really weird. Kind of freaks me out thinking that like I think it was. I feel like it was trying to possess me or something. Cause it's a whisper thing at night. Like, like yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, this is probably all crazy. Sounds like all crazy talk. But yeah, that's what I remember. And as I'm doing this recording, I'm doing it during the day because if I do this at night, I'm not gonna fucking sleep. I'm gonna be fucking paranoid the whole night. Yeah. So, and usually for the most part, like I don't sleep paranoid or anything. It's just that when I remember these things happening, like I remember things and that closet that I told you about that scares me, or that I would close. because I said something felt wrong. It's just it felt like there was something in there. Just I don't know. And we have a closet in our room right now, and I leave it closed because I can't. I don't like it being open because it reminds me of the apartment. So it's like yeah. It's something that I don't. Some things I can't forget, and I don't like to be like when I remember talking about this story. I the I don't I don't want to look at the closet. I don't. It remind like yeah. I can never sleep with the closet open, and I can never sleep with the room door open. Never. Like it must be closed. It's one of those things that like the apartment like that stuck with me afterwards. That like the closet door has to be closed, and the door to the room has to be closed. Otherwise, I can't sleep. I don't feel comfortable or safe. Even though it's like, well, who's gonna get you? Like I don't know, just yeah. This is something like because when we slept in the room in our when we shared the room and slept in the same room in the apartment, like we would have the door closed. There was always some. Oh man, I feel like I have a vague memory of like the door being open, but it's just I feel like it happened so long ago that I can't really remember. But I'm not 100% sure. But I feel like I had a memory of the closet door. I mean the closet, not the closet, the door to our room, like that it opened once. Yeah, yeah. I don't really like talking about these things because when I remember, it just freaks me out. But okay, I think that's all I can remember. Uh, yeah, some of these things I'm telling you, it's just out of whack in I guess in the different. I don't know how like It's not in chronological order. I'm just trying to remember as best I can. Um. Anyway, um, that's all I have to say about what happened. Uh, Honestly, you could probably make like a horror movie based on all the things that we went through. Um, but yeah, if you liked what you heard in the story, the things that I experienced, the stories that my siblings told me, please, you know, please hit the like button on the video. Comment things that stuck out to you, or things I could do better. Or, I don't. Whatever feedback you want to give me, it's perfectly fine. You want to dislike the video too? Yeah, it's fine too. That's what it's for. Um, Thank you for listening. Um, and that's all I've got to say. Uh, Everyone, have a good rest of your day, night, whatever, wherever you are. Um, and I appreciate it if you listened. Uh, my freaking horrible. Like, there's no structure to this video. I'm just shooting the shit. Anyways, thank you and take care. Bye. So I I know I was supposed to try to end the video, but I had to remember some other things that happened. So one of the things that that I remember. Uh, there was another instance that happened in the bathroom where I was taking a shower, and we used to have a radio inside the bathroom, and we would listen to music while we were showering. And the I had the music not too loud, just kind of reasonable amount of volume, and the bat like I had the bathroom door locked. Nobody could come in, right? And the as I'm showering, I'm hearing the music, whatever, and the all of a sudden, the volume just gets really low and goes to zero. And I remember, like, I finished taking a shower, I get out, and I look at the radio knob. There's like several knobs on the radio, and I look at the volume knob, and I rotated it to the right, and the volume went up. But something or someone turned the volume down because the knob was rotated. And I'm like, oh, okay, like that was weird. But nothing overtly weird. Just but yeah, the knob was turned. The volume was to zero. So that I remember. And then another instance. Um, I'm trying to remember. I feel like that happened more than once, but as for it happening, I can't that. But I remember that one time that it happened. Um, Also, there was this other thing that happened where my this happened when me and my siblings and I were in the room, in our room, and somebody was doing like this like weird chanting or ritual or exorcism or something weird is going on. And for context, our apartment was probably like four four or five floors, right? We were at the bottom floor, right? So we're hearing this chanting, and or I don't know if it's chanting, ritual, exorcism, I don't know. But they're like doing this weird thing, and we could hear them upstairs, and we're just kind of like, what the fuck? Like, what's going on? We're all confused, and I don't know, like I don't know what's going on. I think we closed the window, or somebody did. Uh, but yeah, I feel like there was some weird stuff that happened on the floor above, you know, and to add some weirdness to it, I do remember like somebody was walking around at night upstairs on the floor above us because we would hear. I feel like around like 3 in the morning or like like really late at night, somebody was walking around, and maybe the person had like sleep insomnia or something. But the thing is, with that ritual thing that happened, I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it was something weird, or maybe it was just a coincidence. I don't know. But yeah, that happened, and I think that's it for now. All right. Anyways, take care. I just had to add that in because I'm like, I remembered it like right after I recorded. I'm like, fuck, I forgot to add this in. But like, yeah, I remember that, and I think that's it. All right. Well, everybody, take care. Bye bye. Also, I wanted to add too that my oldest sister was telling me that that when She had moved out of the apartment a while back, and when she left and she moved to a different apartment, she she said that like she stopped experiencing the nightmares and all the weird stuff too. And I just wanted to add that like I wasn't the only one having these weird nightmares. Yeah, yeah. I just wanted to throw that in there before I ended. All right. Well, thank you for listening. Take care. Goodbye.